So the association infection is spreading. It is. Emergency Nurses Association was only founded 3 years ago. So see, it's that web of infection that from American Nurses Association. It's all tied to the same thing, and it's obvious because everything on their website is exactly what it's all about. The 17 Unsustainable Development Goals, so to speak. So let me show you, because part of the problem with these scholars and these experts is they complicate things that don't need to be complicated. Like there's simple answers to these things they want to do studies on. Let me show you. So they have a ton of this going all the way back to their beginning about how violence in the ER is increased, because again, this is the Emergency Nurses Association. Emergency room violence is increasing. It's increasing. It's increasing. Every article. This is just one of many, okay? So violence against nurses rising, especially among emergency departments. There's an easy fix for this. The last permanent job I had in Illinois was when I was at Northwestern. I left there in 2020, but they put a psych nurse in the ER. I was one of them. So that was a game changer, because ER nurses, they're used to dealing with a different kind. They're used to dealing with physical trauma. So they have these physical patients that, trauma patients, and then they get a psych patient that's not their specialty. It's not that they can't handle it, but they don't really have the patience because it's not their area. So when they already have physical patients that they see that that's more important, they can often lose their patience. Where a psych nurse, it's our area. So, we'll sit there and, be verbally beat up. We're used to it. But I can understand it because they're used to dealing with physical trauma. So that's the quick answer to this. But you know what they're gonna just put in every ER, put a psych nurse, and make an area of the ER that is strictly for psych, and then those people can have their blood drawn by the psych nurse. They can be handling them. They can go straight to them. I always mention this to places, and some of the Madison, which is a trauma 1 ER, they were interested in doing it because they had such a big ER, because I had done a travel assignment there, but they weren't open to like it was really small area that they have to kind of make, you kind of have to cater it a little bit for psych too, because psych patients are in the ER for so long. But that's how you would decrease this. I'm not saying nurses are provoking patients. I'm just saying that oftentimes they get impatient, and I don't blame them because they have physical traumas they're dealing with, and psych isn't their specialty. So that's how you would decrease a lot of this. But that's, of course, not what any association wants to do. What they love to do is this. Studies. Let's do a study. That's all the associations want to do. It's such a waste of time, some of these things, where there's a simple answer to this. I just gave it. Put a psych nurse in every ER. You'll see how rapidly but they don't want the violence to decrease. Socialists, globalists, let's just say globalists, because they're tied to the UN. Anything justifies as long as they get what they want. So they want there to continue to be violence. That's the reason where I work. My chief nursing officer goes out of her way to make it violent, which there should be. That's somebody that shouldn't be a nurse. Could you get her to admit it? To act like that. They know better, put it that way. They know better than to do what they're doing. But they want there to be this ongoing increase in violence to staff, to other patients. It's very sick. It's very sick. But globalists are sick, okay? While they want to tell everybody else that you're sick because you speak up, no, they are. Because they will go to any lengths to get their agenda complete. So, all the nursing associations love to just do. Washington loves to do this too. Many times it's a waste of time. You remember Trump talked about the blue ribbon committees, what a waste of time they are sometimes. they waste of time and money and really think for things that really there's already a solution to. So why not just implement the solution? So yeah, they want to launch a survey and a study and analyze the relationship between organizational, environmental, and human factors. I mean, it's just this is unnecessary. It's a simple solution. They complicate things. That's what I've never liked about the associations either, is there's so many things they'll put on their website. It's like, you're doing a study for this? Like, there's a simple solution here. They would say, oh, you're not scholarly like we are. Yeah, because I mean, you lack common sense. It's simple. You get rid, but they don't want it. They want it to continue to rise again, so they can keep advocating to Congress and administrations that no, you have to do something. You have to do something. You have to give us money. You have to give us what we want. You have to get on board with globalism. And yeah, so there's it. I worked. It was a game changer in the ER when they brought a psych nurse down. For everybody, there was less restraints. There was nurses down there that knew how to handle psych patients, and then the ER nurses could focus on the traumas they're used to focusing on. That's the answer to this. You'll never get any of these scholarly experts to just admit the truth that that's the simple solution. They'll say, no, there's more to it. Okay, sure there is. So this one's really rather ridiculous because working environments, it's really simple. You need to have staff. Most of the answers to these things that they put on all the associations' websites is there's actually simple solutions to these things. And one of the biggest is to have staff. But yet, when these experts that are chief nursing officers want to say, why can't we retain staff? The very fact that you ask that question shows that you shouldn't be a leader at all. Because if you don't know the basics, that when you disrespect your staff, when you put your staff in danger, when you force them to take more than they can handle, and you do it in such a disrespectful, rude, almost slavery type manner, and that's what nurses I've worked with have said. It's like, like we're slaves to them. Then what you have done is the chief nursing officer and the people running the show are the ones that are fostering the negative workplace. The other thing, and I noticed this at Northwestern, but I picked up on it right away, because for anybody that knows anything about communist systems, they don't like teamwork. They don't, because they don't like people to gather together, and if they see teamworks working well together, then they will throw a wrench into it to try to, because they don't want people getting too tight and then talking about the higher ups. That's how communism is, yeah. And so I saw Northwestern do that, throw somebody into where there was a great team, and then throw somebody in who had tendencies, and a couple times was physically violent and verbally to patients, even kids. And yet nothing was done about it. So they wanted to keep that person there because it helped destroy teamwork. So they'll go on and on about good and positive environments and wanting teamwork, but really they don't. Because we're at a place now where, because my chief nursing officer and other places do this, not all, but most, are micromanaging to the point where they're calling all the time saying, if you're in the med room passing meds, I mean, these nurses know the basics that you should never interrupt a nurse during med pass. It leads to mistakes, yet they will do it. They will tell you to drop everything you're doing. So they're literally trying to set you up to end up having something happen. And they're literally trying to set you up to get hurt. There should be ramifications for that. Definitely that's somebody that shouldn't have a nurse's license, because nobody's that stupid. So they can talk about this nonsense all they want. They're the actual problem of why, because they sooner go along with corporate. Because again, corporate and all these associations are on board with the same agenda, which is the UN's agenda, which violates our Constitution. I have one more to show.